Sharks are actually a type of fish. The difference between fish and sharks is that fish have got a backbone and they're made of bone, like they have a skeleton, but sharks don't. They actually are made of cartilage, so they're cartilaginous fish. If you feel your ear is actually made of cartilage, and it's quite flexible, and that's what the sharks use for their advantage. It makes them more flexible in the water to chase their prey, more rapid, a little bit quieter, and faster as well. Now the species we've got in here, as I say, we've got two. We've got a nurse shark, which is the largest shark we have in here, and we've also got some black-tip reef sharks. Now we're going to talk about the black-tip reef sharks. They do have black tips at the ends of their fins, and that's where they get their name. And each black tip is completely unique to each and every shark. It's like our fingerprints, and we're able to identify the sharks as well by looking at those black tips. Now you're going to see them swim past over and over and over again. Now that's because these sharks have never stopped swimming for their whole lives. Now these sharks actually have to swim in order to breathe. Some animals have got muscles on their gills to push the water through and get the oxygen out of the water. They don't have those muscles, so instead they move forward, open their mouth, and that pushes the water through their gills instead. Now you might be wondering, how do they sleep? Because they can't just lie down and have a little nap, but they've devised this incredible ability to turn off half of their brain at a time. So they have a brain just like us. They've got two hemispheres, and they keep one half asleep whilst the other half stays awake, and they constantly alternate between both halves of their brain. Now we've got some other animals in here. Let me see what I can spot. There's actually a beautiful honeycomb whiptail stingray in here. Now she's absolutely huge. She's about 2 meters long, and her tail is, I think, double the length of her body. I've not spotted her at the moment, but keep an eye out for a honeycomb whiptail stingray. They've got this almost leopard print pattern over their backs, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Now they're known as a whiptail stingray because they will whip their body around and use the barb that lays on top of the tail to protect themselves from predators. Now that is what makes a stingray, it's the barb. Now these barbs are actually venomous, and when it goes into something, it might also break off, and hers in here has broken off, and it takes about 6 months to a year for them to regrow. So she is my favourite animal in here. See if you can spot her. She might be asleep at the moment. Some people, when they see a ray, they actually think they've got a little smiley face on the bottom when they come up, but it's actually their nostrils and their mouth. Their eyes are often on the tops of their bodies, or if you've been in Stingray's Adventure, the Japanese carnose rays have their eyes right at the front near their mouths. Now, last but not least in here, we have got some green sea turtles in here. A fun fact is that they're not naturally green. They actually just eat lots and lots of green vegetables, and that has dyed their fat green. We've got two in here. We've got a boy and a girl, and the way to tell the difference is by looking at their tails. The one with the long tail is the male, and he is called Eddie. And we've also got a female in here who is called Phoenix. And Phoenix lives with us all the time. She's about 26 years old. She didn't grow up with us, but we've had her for, I think, about 11 years. And Eddie comes from another sea life. He's just visiting for a bit of a holiday. He fancied Blackpool this year. So they're about 26, 27 years old, but they're not fully grown. They get fully grown, fully mature at about 35 years old. And in the wild, they will have babies. They actually lay eggs. Now the turtles in here won't be bred, but in a few years, Phoenix may be ready to lay some eggs, but they're not fertilised. So that is why we built a beach right at the back. So the beach is the only time a turtle will come out of the water, and in the wild they actually remember where they were born and go to the same beach to lay their own eggs. They'll dig a hole in the sand and lay about 100 eggs per nest. They'll have a few nests, and they're about the size of a golf ball, those eggs. Now, turtles don't actually have a gender assigned straight away. So what determines their gender, if they become a girl or a boy, is the temperature of the sand. So the warmer the sand, the more female eggs will be born, and the cooler the sand, the more male eggs will be born. Now that's why it's quite important when we think about global warming and the rise of the temperature. It can even influence the smallest turtle, how many girls and boys are born, and trying to keep things in balance there is what we like to think about. Now there is things that we can do to help with global warming, including reducing our plastic consumption. Something really bad is actually fast fashion. So when we think about buying clothes, we can always shop second hand as a little idea there. And buying more reusable natural materials like cotton, hemp and linen, they're incredible for the environment. They will break down, unlike plastic, which just turns into smaller pieces and microplastics that end up in the water.